I'm Alex Chisnell. I'm joined by Danny Gray, founder of War Paint for Men Today. If you've joined us previously for one of the webinars, thank you very much indeed. Hope you're all feeling good, blessed with the weather. Hope you're all safe and well at home as well. So I've been looking forward to this one, Life During Lockdown, with War Paint for Men founder Danny Gray. So Danny's going to be answering questions about how this coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you'd like to call it, is impacting his business during its first year or so of trading, his story and why he launched War Paint for Men, his Dragon's Den experience as well. So lots of questions that we've had through. If you've got anything else, for some strange reason on this platform, it says ask a question. Danny doesn't get to see those for some strange reason. It's just me. I have no idea why. So
makes sense.
Questions into the chat function. It's a bit of a strange one with this system, but we've had questions through already. So Danny, start off with, like, you and I met up late last year. World was a very different place, I should say.
We're in my office for a start. So.
Yeah. So whereabouts are you? Watford, am I right?
No. So we moved about 4 months ago. So we're in Marylebone now. So actually Marylebone Station, above the station.
Yes, that's right. And where are you now, home-wise? Where's home for you? What part of the country?
So I'm just outside the M25, Beaconsfield. It's not really Beaconsfield. It's more towards High Wycombe. I call it Beaconsfield because it's lovely.
Yeah, I was born in High Wycombe. I know that part of the country very well.
There you go. So I'm literally at Woburn Green. So like
yeah.
Down the road from there, yeah.
Very good. Well, look, like I said, world was a very different place not that long ago. A lot of people wondering how other CEOs, other founders are getting on with their businesses. Some people are very shy, reticent, talking about successes that they've had at times like this. You know, people don't want to be seen as opportunistic, but people want to obviously use opportunities when they present themselves.
Just me. You're dropped off. You're back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of bandwidth being used up in the country now. By everybody on these platforms. So yeah, you know, a lot of people asking questions, some people a little reticent about talking about their experiences, don't want to be seen as opportunistic, but you know, you want to take advantage of opportunities that are there. Otherwise, as a business, we've seen so many go under already and people not in a good situation. How's it been for you, like personally and from a business point of view?
Yeah, so I think like everyone out there, I don't think there's really businesses that aren't affected either in a positive or negative fashion. So for us, when we were speaking sort of 4 or 5 months ago, we're growing really fast as a brand, getting a lot of exposure, and then we were signing a lot of retail deals. So we were launching Harvey Nichols, Gerald's, John Bell Croydon. We're launching John Lewis, obviously, and we're in talks of, we're just about to launch 4 or 5 others, Virgin Airways, internationally as well, distributors all over the world, just literally taking the product now. So for us, that sort of growth through retail and exposure sort of obviously is ground to a halt. Predominantly still a D2C brand, and that's our core of our business and always will be. But for us, it's been not tough. It's put a brakes on everything. So what we thought would be now, even like the 6 to 8 weeks that its impact has made a massive impact on us. It's just pushed us back a little bit in terms of that launching in retail. But to be honest, because we're already a D2C brand, it's not like we were heavily reliant on retail. So I would say possibly like a couple of years down the line, hopefully we will be very dependent on that, because I think that's a good way for us to grow. But at the minute, it's not hugely impactful, just pushes us back a few months. And being D2C, we can manage it all virtually as well. So we are having, you know, I've never used Zoom or do you know what? I actually think this is changing. I think this change is going to change business in a positive. And the only one of the only positives I can think from this is that it shows how quickly you can do stuff. I think a lot of the time in business, it's, you know, you try and make an introduction, you try and get a meeting booked in, and for some reason when you book a meeting in, it's always 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away. Someone, they're always like, yeah, I'll see you like the end of, I don't know, April, 2nd week of May, you free?
Yeah.
You know, because they've got to come, and it feels like it's a big effort, where now, you know, I'm just in discussions with a charity at the minute. You know, they reached out on the Thursday, I replied Thursday, Friday morning, there's 5 of us on a Zoom call. you know, and we'll put in motion within 24 hours. And I think, I don't know, I think that would have taken a lot longer before. So I think that's one positive from it. And I think it just showed on that people can work remotely and be trusted. You know, my team have been amazing, if I'm honest. And, you know, our output has still been really good. So, but look, it still is a struggle. Like everyone's, you know, sales are still quite good for us, but, you know, we have big growth plans. I think that's going to potentially maybe not be where we wanted to be in the next 6 months, but it's out of our control.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm trying not to dwell on stuff that's not in my control. You know, I think that's everything. I try and stay positive as possible, but at the minute, we're okay as a brand.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I was going to mention that. Funny enough, you beat me to it. I was going to say, like, you know, how much does that? You know, we chatted about this before end of last year, but how much things can you focus on what you can control, and how that, you know, affects your mental health? Because I was chatting to a chap earlier, and he was saying to me, his business is like coaching high-level CEOs from, you know, big companies like, you know, PwCs, Oracles, you know, these guys on leadership and stuff. And he said, you know, when this happened, he said all of his new client leads, all of his pipeline just died overnight. And he said he was almost convincing himself to throw in the towel just by the language he was using. You seem like, you know, like this nightmare situation that we're in.
Yeah.
Actually, if you think about it, that's such negative language that you are, you know, perpetuating that kind of myth in your subconscious when you go to bed at night. Then you wake up the next morning, yeah, I'm in a nightmare. But, you know, like you said, we make the best out of a situation, control what we can control. And I agree with you. The things, likewise for me, like organizing meetings and getting things signed off, seems to happen like that now. Whereas, like you said, you'd be looking at 2 weeks or even 4 weeks away. Let's book it in next month.
Yeah. And I think for me as well, I've had a lot of people reach out to me via LinkedIn and social platforms about, because obviously I have my mental health issues as well, with body dysmorphia, and when I'm stressed or, you know, overthink things, that can manifest itself in me. And, you know, if you ask a lot of people, I'm very positive anyway. And I think just trying to keep a positive mindset during everything goes on. I know that's so hard, because a lot of people are listening and go, well, no, it's not as easy as that. But I just think try and keep in control of things that you can be in control of, rather than worrying about stuff you can't. Because I mean, no one can control this coronavirus. No one knows like the amount of times people are like, oh, I wonder when it's going to get back to normal, or, you know, you're trying to plan your business around stuff getting back to normal, where it changes every day, like the information coming out. So I think you've just got to concentrate on what you can do, and control what you control, rather than other stuff that's out of your control. Because otherwise, it will literally drive you mad. And then it'll make you make decisions that you shouldn't be making as well with that. So we're all right at the minute as a brand. So I'm pleased with it. I'm just pleased with the situation we're in at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've as you know, I've got podcast agency as well, like a business owner myself, and it was interesting. You know, good and bad have come of this as well, but it was interesting. Like a couple of the bigger brands I was speaking to, like 8-figure businesses, you know, doing between 50 and 300 million. Couple of these businesses, and they literally put stuff on ice. So whereas we had like a new podcast launch for them planned for this spring, they put it back to next year. And I was wondering, how much have you looked forward ahead like that far? So, you know, being that you're in what kind of year 1, year 2 territory, was they were like looking at it and going, and I get it, they were like, you know, factories in China, launching new product with a new website, with a podcast, just can everything, because all of a sudden they looked at their cash flow, and clearly if the factories aren't working, the workers aren't working in the factory, it's a scary place to be.
Yeah, I think what you mentioned there is cash. Like, cash is king, like in any business. And I think so. We've been trading for 16 months now. And as I said before, we've got like big growth plans where we want to be. But as we're now literally planning 5 years out. So when I say 5 years, not exactly what we're going to be doing in 2022, but, you know, where we want the business to get to. And of course, this has impacted it. So we've redone our business modeling to, you know, have a COVID plan effectively. So we've got that clear runway. I think you need to do that because much as I'm very positive about the whole situation, you need to plan for it as well. So people putting stuff off until the time's right and concentrating on the stuff that does make you, makes you money, because that's what we're here to do as a business. And there's a lot of stuff like I'm like most fans, I'm going to do a million things, and my favourite saying is, "I want it yesterday."
Yeah.
So everything I want to do, I want to do it straight away. I think I've had to pull the reins in a little bit about these other avenues we're going to try and almost concentrate on the core. But to be fair, that's been really good, because it's made us, we were going at such a rate. I think this thing has made us as a brand, and myself personally, focus on the things we've been doing really well at and do even better at them. So like, I'm a massive believer in content. We do a serious amount of content, and I'm quite proud of what we produce, but it's almost like we're going back to that again and working out doing even more content like during this time, and making you realize again that we could create amazing content remotely, getting customers involved and concentrating on that drives people to our website, that drives sales, that drives revenue, that keeps the business going, rather than like quite a lot of nice to haves, which I think you've just got to focus on the things. So in terms of planning, our next 18 months is really planned out to where we want to go. And obviously the retail's been pushed out just because of, that's not down to us, that's because of COVID, but your whole plan's changed, because obviously we're not launching these certain brands at certain times, and countries as well. We were just about to launch into Japan as well. So that's all going ahead. It's taken a long time to get everything signed off, safety checks and language barriers, but we're there. But they're going through as much pain as we are at the minute. So that's been pushed back by 2.5 months, 3 months. But again, it just lags it. So you've got to change your whole model around actually to show that impact.
Yeah.
So we're planning quite far out, even though we're still quite young.
Interesting, because I was chatting last week to Chris Ducker from youpreneur.com and also James Sinclair, but both of those guys were saying same as you at the moment, focus on content. The big part, for those people who have a business. We fielded quite a few questions, people asking for advice and saying, well, look, if you're at home, you're mothballing your business, you're not able to sell any products or service, you're having to furlough staff, at least keep the conversation going, so that when things do change, and they will change, you're at the forefront of people's minds, because you've kept them engaged. Like you said, you're driving them to your website, and all those kinds of things, really.
Yeah, so we're still doing all the content we did before, like weekly. We have our weekly website series as well, like everything behind the scenes are going on. We've done some ones virtual, like all from home, filming ourselves and putting that out. We're also still in conversations as well. Still, even if businesses are mothballing and businesses are furloughing staff, which they're still around. Yeah. So you can still have conversations. I think if you've got something that potentially, we're talking to distributors still, and I've had people reach out in the last sort of week, even during lockdown, and now they want to have these conversations now, getting the ball rolling for when we launch. When we come back out of it. So even if retail's been pushed back, we're building on that retail in the next 2.5 months. I'm not sitting here going, I'll tell you what, we can't. I'm still like having those conversations every day. Yeah. So just to when we do get back, we'll try and hit it. And sort of make up on lost time, really.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. It was quite positive. I had conversations, like probably started again about 2 weeks ago. After about 2 weeks of lockdown and just like silence from a lot of brands. 2 weeks later, people were then contacting me going, "Can I have a conversation for when things pick up, and can we start the conversation now?" And I was like, "Okay, so that is a positive. People are still thinking ahead and making their plans."
They have to.
Yeah.
You have to. I think as well, I think with lockdown, we're in the middle of it now, but especially at the beginning, everyone, I think the panic was as high as it could be with everyone, because it was so unknown. I just think even now, obviously, we're still in the middle of it. We don't know what's going to happen. I think a lot of people are almost not getting used to it, because you'll never get used to it, but also actually, we still do have to work, and that sort of high panic's maybe over a little bit. So people are having those conversations now.
A quick one, whilst we were just talking about retail earlier. Stu says, D2C is so important, but do you think high street retail is essential to brands still, especially with cosmetics where people like to try before they buy? Good question.
Yeah, definitely for me. So D2C is very powerful, but I think especially what we're doing with cosmetics, to grow a brand as quickly as we want to do, I think retail still holds massive value in terms of getting in front of people's faces, touching, feeling it, trying it on. I think reputation as well. There's a lot of brands that have just been created in the last sort of 2-3 years, and not even fashion and apparel brands. And I think to stand out, if you're in retail, it's almost like third-party validation. So people are like, "Oh, okay, well in that store, they're a proven brand."
Yeah.
And like, if we want to get into the market, let's say Japan, for us to do that D2C is very difficult without sort of those distribution retail partners to grow the brand. So I think retail's still got a massive part to play. And I think as people see that D2C becomes more expensive because everyone's clamoring for the same customers, so your CPA gets higher. I think people will revert back to retail a little bit. So I think it's absolutely key, especially if you want to grow fast.
I was thinking about this last week, funny enough, because I've hosted Ted Baker founder Ray Kelvin a couple of times down here in Bournemouth, and just thought about them last week, Ted Baker, and I just thought, it's interesting, isn't it? This time, the high streets are literally, locked down. See a few of the fast food chains reopening for takeaway and stuff like that. But I thought, I wonder if a lot of these bigger brands like that are using this opportunity to take, a step back and re-envisage what the whole high street experience is going to be like, because I think it's a pretty good time for them to do that, because in reality, this is going to be another 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 9 weeks, who knows, until they start gradually making changes.
I think people still like that retail experience and going out. And I think if we completely go to DC world, I think that whole thing of going out, shopping and trying clothes on and the experience, but people I think they have to adapt. There's a few brands out there, and there's people like launching retail stores now where it's all interactive. So you turn up with your app effectively, and you can scan a mannequin, you can choose the color, you also choose your size, and you can have it delivered to your house. You can try it on, and you check out on your phone. So it's still a retail experience, but it's just moving with the times. I think the whole operation, stuff like that, I think everything like that will change. But I definitely still think there'll be a place for retail. And the people that are opening these retail stores are the market leaders on D2C. Even the market leaders for D2C are looking at retail fixtures now and places. So for them to be doing that means there must be some sort of future for it.
Yeah. I think so. I think it's just complementary, isn't it? Really, you can have one and the other. And so for you, just had another question ping straight in. So for you, with your sales from day one, were they from your own websites predominantly?
Yeah. So from day one up to only a few months ago, they were all through our own website. So everything was driven direct for us. And there was a lot of other retailers that wanted to take the brand, but I just didn't want to do that at that point. So I wanted to drive everything through our own website, just because of brands messaging, looking for. So for me, everyone's like, your brand is really important, and people think of brands as a logo. It's not. It's everything. It's the way you speak to a customer, it's your language, the look and the feel. So I was really keen to drive people to our website, especially education for me was such a big point. So all of and that was driven purely through social media campaigns, Instagram and Facebook, especially at the beginning, and and it took off really well. And I think if you've got a product that's a little bit different and people want it, you'll sell it. If that makes sense. I know it's easy to say, but differentiate yourself with your marketing. There are customers out there.
Yeah, I mean, I said this when I met you before, but I love your branding. It does look so cool, and the way it speaks to customers, the way it feels, all that kind of stuff. It's very iconic, I think. Yeah,
do you know what? And I think it is because I love what I do, and I love, I am the target audience, and I didn't do this because I saw a gap in the market and I wanted to make loads of money, and I did it because I wanted this brand to be around. So I thought this brand was lacking. So I had a very clear understanding of what I wanted the brand to be. And I think, once you're all encompassing with it, everything mattered on my website, like every little minor detail. And I wanted it to be exactly I envisage it. But now, then you do get that minimal viable product thing, which I bang on about now, where don't stress yourself too much about absolute tiny details, because the customer won't see it. So, but I did have a really strong view on what I wanted the brand to look like.
And given that you do that with regards to marketing, we're just doing a presentation earlier today, and they're saying, you know, how much the costs in Facebook Instagram ads have come down at the moment. And I've seen a lot of brands have literally cut their marketing straight away, whereas you should be thinking of, you know, storytelling, etc., and keeping yourself at the forefront. What's your reaction been from your marketing?
Yeah, well, still as strong as ever. So we were still getting a return, and I think what we did though was our messaging around how we were approaching it, and we've done stuff around COVID, and but we do cosmetic products for men, right? So but what I've always said is it's about the way you feel. It's about confidence in yourself. It's not about just putting a product on. So we were just saying, you know, we were using like the COVID time, people have got time at home, you know, doing a lot of Zoom calls, like something try new to make you feel better, because it genuinely does. Like has made me feel so much better, and given me confidence. And this is what the whole thing about what our brand's about. It's not about, oh, I want to look amazing and, you know, I want to do it because I'm going out on the weekends and meet loads of women. You know, that's not what it's about. It's about confidence men being the true you. So that message, we're doing a lot of customer like reviews, like customers sending us loads of videos. So we're using our customers who are using us during lockdown as sort of marketing material, and do you know what I mean? Having a bit of a, you know, and being current as well, like being really current with marketing, because people can tell when you use the same thing over and over again. We did for a long time. The first 9 months, because there's only 2 of us in the business, we were using the same material over and over and over again, and eventually our sales died. We didn't die, they were just, you know. So now we're constantly creating new material to put out there. We did one actually, we had Donald Trump on it about how not to use makeup. So something a bit like something a little bit edgy, and testing as well. Do a lot of test, A/B testing about what's working, what's not. And I think they like raw as well, like Instagram and Facebook. People like raw content. So you've got your funnel where you've got brand awareness piece, which can be quite polished, and then your conversion piece down here can be a bit more real, so relatable. So we're using real customers. You know, we've got so many customers who bought into the brand and they just want to be a part of it. They send in their videos, want us to use it, and then like last night I had a guy messaging me on Instagram. He suffers really bad with vitiligo. You know, and he's used our product, and it's really helped him. So he wants to do a video for us. No, I'm like, that's absolutely amazing. So that, and he helped us to, you know, we can use that. Not just promote us, but it's promoting confidence in men, like insecurities in men as well. People have these things, and diversity of the product. You know, it's a simple 2-minute video a guy's can do for us from home, and we'll just put branding at the end of it. You know, so there's a lot of stuff you can still be doing in terms of marketing, even if you're in lockdown.
Great, we've got a couple of questions. So Steve, I'll come back to your question. Ido, this kind of flows straight into that. So in lockdown, more people are spending more time on socials. What trends have you noticed with engagement before and after lockdown? That's a great question, Ido.
Yeah, so it was weird. We went really well this year, and then can't be when the murmurings happened. I think it was like, when was it, the middle of March? We saw a real dip in just sales, and you know, the cost of getting people to drive to the website. Still making sales, but you know, the contribution wasn't great. And then be it the last 2-3 weeks, it's really picked up again. Like over Easter was it's been really good. I think that goes back to what I was saying before, is when this whole thing about we are going to get locked down, everyone realised, you know, I think everyone packed, like when you went to the shops, you can buy a loo roll. You know, I'm not saying it like everyone does it, but I was using tissue paper, for God's sake. And now I was in Tesco's at 6 o'clock, 6:30 this morning, and there's so much toilet roll there, it's unbelievable. Everyone panicked, they're buying those toilet roll, and they've got plenty to last them. And I think it's just that's what's happening about coronavirus. People, the panic is still there, but it's not as much as it was. So I think then people go back to saying, actually, there's life after coronavirus or COVID. I'll go out and buy stuff. and a lot of people coming on for the first time on, just like we can see like new users. So I think people just
interesting. So you can, yeah, of course you can see like the customer journey and how many new customers, how many repeat customers.
Yeah, a lot of like loads of new customers coming through. It was amazing.
Yeah, because I wondered, you know, like with the, you know, makeup for men, and you think people are locked down inside, they're not socializing, seeing people, but everybody's FaceTiming, parties, Zooms. So people are, you know, face to face, aren't they? Still, so
I've done more face to face meetings in the last 2 weeks than I've ever done. You know, because you're just calling someone, you're like, oh, just let's do a quick Zoom. So you're always, and I think, do you know what as well for me, Alex? The other thing you've got to do in sort of business or for your own mental health as well, still have a routine.
Yes.
Like if you get up in the morning, you know, I still got up early at the same time, so I have the same routine. You know, I put my clothes on, I do my hair, I do my makeup, I get in my little office in the back of my house outside. You know, and I'm going to work, and that really helps my mental health. I think people who just, you know, get up and lie in their bed all day and do their work, honestly, I don't think that's good for you. I don't think it's good for your body. So I still think this whole thing about getting up, getting ready. And the other thing for me is about, if you feel good or feel right in yourself, then you'll do better at everything you do. So for me, like getting ready, feeling like I'm prepared, I don't know what it's like, but if I don't have a shower and came out here and I just feel like
I can't do it. I feel unclean. I can't do
it. Yeah. So for me, it's the same. You should still have that routine, even if it is but I think that's why we're doing well now, because people are thinking, well, if you feel, there's that charity, look good, feel better. If you feel you look good, you feel better. Yeah. And so I think that's why a lot of guys are trying products.
Yeah, no, talked about this before, and I'd say for me, it's been absolutely key having a morning routine and like a late afternoon, evening routine. And if you can bookend your day, you know, whatever chaos happens in the middle, if you can still control how you start and end your day, like mentally, I think it just makes you far more focused about what you're doing.
Definitely. I used to be a nightmare. Like when I was first allowed to work from home, when I was younger, you know, you'd be like, well, I'll work for a couple of hours, I'll go, you know, sit down on the sofa and watch. You don't feel like you want to get up and I think you've still got to treat it as if you're working, like as if you're going into the office. Do your routine, you know, stop for lunch for half an hour.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll make you feel better, make you feel like, and the time, if I wasn't working, I'll be in a lot worse state than I am now in terms of mental health, because I'll just like the same thing every day being locked in. So
you get really introspective then, don't you? And I found that to a certain degree with the bank holiday weekend that we just had, and I thought, you know, I'm going to take a few days off, but it was almost worse for taking those extra days off. I had a little wobble like Tuesday, Wednesday last week, and I was quite down, and that was the only time, like, and I'm always like, you know, glass half full, really positive. And then I finished the week really strongly, Thursday and Friday, feeling all like pumped and positive. And I'm fine again now, but it's funny how you just have these kind of dips. And I think it was just because I took too much time off, took like 4 days off over that weekend, you know.
Yeah, and it's like because you've got nothing to do either. Because you're stuck at home, normally you're out and about and stuff like that. So then your mind overplays stuff. So, and that's still going to happen now. Like, I appreciate that. I still have it wobbles. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I definitely not. I have wobbles still all the time. But I think if you just do the best you can to minimize them, then you
and not beat yourself up about it, which is something I've learned with age.
Definitely not. It's not your fault.
Yeah. A couple of other questions, Steve. I will get to you about the funding and the dragons because I know. I was chatting about this with Danny off air before, but questions come in. What other online channels work for your products other than your own website? Would you use Amazon, or is it all about feeding traffic to your own outlets?
Good question. So we do actually use it. We are on Amazon. But we don't sell into Amazon. We sell on the platform. So we actually control Amazon. For me, that's a big thing as well. Controlling my brand, controlling the pricing. As well with Amazon, people will eventually go on there with the product, and it's such a good, you know, for certain markets like the US, like 84% of Americans do Amazon Prime. So if you're not on there, I think it's something you can be missing. So we do use that, but what we don't do is really proactively promote that, because obviously data is absolutely king with everything. So we don't, you know, like if you sell through Amazon, you don't hold customer data. So that is the only downside to Amazon. But people then will buy from Amazon, come to your website anyway, talk about it, other customers. So the positive it brings for me outweighs the negative. So yeah, we do use Amazon as well currently, and then we're just about to launch with the Porter as well.
Okay.
So we're gonna so that'll be the first, the only e-commerce partner that we've got currently.
Very good. Good answer. So I will, Steve, I will go back to your question. So Steve says, I only just found out today that Danny never did the deal with the Dragons. What happened?
So I didn't do the deal with Tej and Peter eventually, just because it's a show, it's all quite heightened and everything, and the valuation for me was where I wanted to be. And there's nothing against them. We had meetings since, but at the time for me, I wanted to just drive the business for another 6 months. So I was looking at funding and different options at that point. And what it became clear to me is that if I can get through the next 6 months and get some key goals, and the valuation is going to improve massively, which obviously helps me as a brand owner. So I just think it was a little bit early, and I think when I look back at it, the valuation was a little bit too low. Even though I did getting down a lot, I went in with a clear mindset. I didn't want to really give more away when I was willing to do, like anything like a show. Those sort of things happen. So decided not to go with them, but luckily it's been quite a positive thing, because we still launched in all the retail we wanted to, even more in fact, and now we're in a much stronger position without taking that funding. We're actually just going through a round of funding like right now. So it's worked out really well.
And when it comes to funding, like for other, just having this conversation with somebody today who'd been on the Apprentice TV show and was just asking me for some advice, and was asking about investors. What route did you decide to do, and what kind of played into that? Have you looked at like a VC, angels?
Yeah, well, sort of it was a VC route for us, just because angels is great, but then if you partner with the right VC, they can help you grow. So smart money, effectively. So I think it depends on where you are as a business. So it was weird. We're between like a seed and a Series A. Even we're not at Series A, but we're not really a seed round because we weren't that young. We were like in the middle. And we've proven a lot of things out as well. We weren't pre-revenue, obviously making good revenue, a lot of press and PR. And the VC, if you get the right one, it can definitely help drive your brand, and the experience they've got as well. If you pick the right partner, can teach you a lot of things that possibly a lot of angels, especially they're silent, they just won't. So for me to go to that next level at the rate we wanted to, we had to do that now. But for different businesses, different things are better, obviously. So, but luckily, I have got a CEO called Matt Lum, who I brought on, who's got a wealth of experience about scaling a business. So I think if you're on your own raising money, first of all, if you want to do it through VC, you have to have that as well. You have to have your management in place for them to feel comfortable in investing in you. Other than that, angels will probably take more of a risk where it's just you guys. But that next level for me was VC.
Good answer. And interested to know, a couple of questions have come in. I'll kind of merge them into one. But how have your supply chain or distribution been affected during the last, say, 4, 5, 6 weeks?
Yeah, so all of our makeup is produced in the UK, so it's a UK manufacturer, but our componentry that we source in-house, and that's all from Asia. So I think they were 3 months in front of us, and it started impacting us sort of January, February. So they're now back out of it. So our supply chain was affected for that little piece, because we had to get componentry in from Asia to the UK, so that was delayed. But we managed just to turn around 80% of our stock. About 20% just couldn't, because of the time for the componentry to arrive. So it was impacted, and I think it's hard. I don't think there's any supply chain that isn't impacting from different countries. So now you're looking at China are back up and running.
Yeah.
But then now our UK manufacturer is shut. So I don't think and the other thing we started looking at is alternate supply chains, but then you look at cost and everything. So because China, one thing economy wise, they are especially with componentry, you know, you can't get anywhere near the pricing like across Europe or somewhere else. So it has been a difficult one. Like we're out of stock on some key products now on the website because of it. But again, what we had to do to adjust that, so a lot of our sets are our biggest sellers. So people come to buy like the whole set. So we just adjusted and made new sets around products we had and drove that. You know, so we've been quite fluid in the way we've done that.
Nice. Here's a question for you. What's keeping you up at night, Danny?
So just, do you know what it is? It's about, I think like it's just the future. Like and I know people say is like, we're obviously going through raising capital at the minute, which is a stressful thing anyways. That's difficult, but everyone's still really excited by the opportunity. But it's about where are we going to be in the next 6 months to a year? Like, how long is this going to last? That's all. But again, it's something I can't control because, you know, I want us to get up in retail and be all around the world. You know, if this didn't happen, by the end of this year, I think we'll be absolutely flying all over the world. But that's just going to be put on hold. And all I want to know is how long for.
Yeah,
so that's the only thing really, and that's the only thing that really plays on my mind. But I'll be honest, I'm really lucky, and I think we're fortunate as a brand that we haven't been impacted as much as other brands. So I don't want to be dwelling and thinking, oh my god, like, because I feel it's unfair on a lot of other brands and stuff that I know. Like, as I said, if this was us in a year or 2 years where maybe 30, 40, 50% of our revenue was retail dependent, it would have a huge impact on us.
Yeah.
But luckily, we're in a fortunate position. So it's not like I'm like, oh my god, what's going to happen? We've just been put back that sort of 6 months. But it could be 12 months. It could be 18 months. So that's the one thing. But when you're trying to model that out in a business plan, that's what's tough. Yeah. Because you're like, you know, you had a call with our Japanese partners. We're launching in September. So it's like amazing, you know, it's been pushed back 2 months, but is it really going to launch?
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about other brands, and you signed that deal with Virgin Atlantic, my old employers, my old boss, Richard Branson, and you know, look at them, and it's like an airline, a travel business, a cruise business, a hotel business. It's like, whoa, you know, how many businesses in one kind of market can you get nailed?
And do you know what? And that's where we launched with, I went in and had that meeting with Virgin Atlantic, and it was unbelievable. They were so excited to have us as a brand. We had loads of stuff. They want to do like a pop-up with me in the sky, so a pop-up store. So, which is unbelievable, you know, flying to San Francisco, they're going to get PR up. April launch. It was meant to be launching this month. And us doing
really?
that,
was it?
You know, and timing, that's all been put back. But then I look at that, and people are like, you must be gutted. I'm like, well, I'm gutted, but like, what can I do about it? And look at Virgin as a business.
Yeah.
People say, like, you know, people will say about Richard Branson, you should put your money in your pocket, but it's a lot more complicated than that. He's not a massive shareholder anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it was compared to what he was.
Yeah.
And the business still, you know, this is why it's been put in place by the government, these schemes, to help businesses like that. You know, it's the whole reason behind it, because there is zero revenue going through that pretty much. So,
yeah.
But yeah, we were going to launch with them, which was like, again, we were the first men's makeup brand, and again, you know, push back, and there's, you know,
it'll come again, because like when I saw you doing that, and I saw like I think a video of you going into the offices down in Crawley, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is definitely a match made in heaven. Knowing, you know, I was working with the Virgin guys up until late last year. We were doing events in Manchester with like Candy Kittens, with like Jamie Lang, Piers Lenny from Dragon's Den, all those guys. And I thought that was a match made in heaven, you guys and them.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's like, in terms of content, right? This just shows you, because we're doing so much content. I turned up to the Virgin meeting, and I was meeting the lady there, and she was like shaking my hand, and then I was really nervous, and then she went, "Oh, can I just say I couldn't wait to meet you." I'm like, "Oh my god!" And she's like, "I've been watching all your stuff on LinkedIn, all your videos." Like, she actually gave me a hug. Even
yeah.
But this is, and then I went up to reception, and the receptionist recognised me straight away. I was like, "Oh, you're the wall paint guy." But why I'm saying that is because you're putting out this content, and people think like, how many views do I get? And it's not about that. It's about the invisible views, right? So it's the people that watch it, then tell someone, or who don't like on it, but are watching everything you do and get. So she'd been watching us for 4 months.
Wow. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, this is a Virgin Atlantic, and it was only out the blue. Can we have a meeting? Of course you can. We love you, but we want to launch with you. 4 months they've been watching what we're doing. So this thing in terms of content and putting it out there and showing your real brand, which we do. And like even the video, you know, we turned up to Virgin with my videographer there. I was like, do you mind if we film the whole thing? They're like, yeah. So we filmed the whole thing, put a little video together, and like we had like 45,000 views on that.
Yeah, they'd love that, 100%. Yeah.
You know, and then off the back of that, EasyJet and TUI straight in contact with me via LinkedIn. Straight away.
Really? Via LinkedIn? That's interesting as well. So
yeah. So, but this is but it shows you because they see that content. It's been shared all over the place. Like the John Lewis one, when I did our first video there, you know, putting that content out, it went absolutely crazy. And off the back of that, retailers all over. Then Sunday Times went in there, wrote one article. And off the back of that one article, we're in 400 articles in 3 days across the world. You know, so it just shows you about doing this sort of content where you're like, who's seeing it, who isn't. Put it out there and keep putting it out there because people do watch it and people talk about it as well. So those invisible views are as more important than the visual ones that you actually see.
I did see a mutual friend of ours, Emily Austin from Emerge PR, who you know, you guys obviously work with, and she was like sharing all of the videos of you, and I was like, oh my god. And when this happened, I thought, I bet you, and I knew we were going to be doing this chat, I thought, I bet you Danny's glad that he's not literally jumping in the cab and flying all around London, jumping in TV studios and radio stations, because you were literally on something. It seemed to me like every 15 minutes you were in a different studio.
Yeah, we did. It was crazy, man. It still is. Like I put a piece together the other day for like I've got one of the team members to do it. How many articles we're in, and in 6 months there's been over 400, like 450, and that this is like tier 1 around the world. We were on, like it went insane, mate. Like I did 17 back-to-back interviews at the BBC on radio. 17. I had to sit in a room. We've got an episode on that on our website for the series. I'm like that. 17. It's like BBC. And I couldn't even go out to go to the toilet. So, I was on BBC. We like BBC One, Channel 5, Jeremy Vine, Sky News, BBC Worldwide, RTE Ireland, BBC Dubai. But this is all just through content we were putting out and getting. And it just takes one, you know. That was one guy. The Sunday Times just walked into John Lewis because he saw some content, and he's like one article was about that big paragraph on page 6. And I come in on the morning on the Monday, and the phone was literally like, everyone, can we have an interview? Can we come down?
Amazing.
And then obviously John Lewis then a month later said that we'd done 50% more than they expected. So we'd done. So they forecast us to do X amount, and we did 50% above what they forecast us. I thought was too high anyway. So and then they wrote. So then that went viral again about how well it went. So
because that was like a trial, wasn't it? And then literally they were like, right, boom, you're in.
Well, they put us in for a month, and then they had no plan afterwards. So now I went in there, and obviously they're like, and they said they'll be honest, in 30 years they've never seen anything like it. Like as in the press and the attention that it got. And the sales as well. So on one day we sold more product than Dior makeup.
Really?
Yeah, more physical products. So, and the only reason I know that is because I was in the store and counting how many we sold, and I went over and asked how many units they'd sold in a day.
Yeah.
So that's my claim to fame, mate. I'm gonna
you're going to hang that, aren't you? Yeah. 100%, here's one that fits right into that. How many men use beauty products? Presumably, it's a growing market with lots of scope for even further growth.
Great question. So this is, if you go back a year ago or 15 months when we launched, no one was writing about men's makeup. It was there, but so for me, where it was always was, you know, there's a stigma around men, especially straight guys, wearing makeup. It was, you know, for homosexuals, and look, that's a huge audience of ours. But for me, the big audience were guys who would never wear makeup because I feel they couldn't, who would benefit from it. So if you think about the amount of men who moisturize, like, you know, go shopping, the reason men moisturize is not to prolong your life and make you live longer, it's so you don't have wrinkles, so you feel better in yourself, right? men go down the gym majority of the time because they want to look good. Yeah, it's a lot of it's fitness, but a lot of guys because they want to look good, look in shape. And it's not for anyone else because it makes you feel better.
Yeah,
makeup is the next, so they can do all of that. But if they've got dark circles, olive spots, aging spots, broken capillaries, you can't do nothing about that. Can't wear makeup. It's actually ridiculous. So this is what we've had in society for years, and what men are now, and hopefully what we've tried to do is like break down that stereotype. Like anyone can wear makeup, be straight, bi, trans, whatever you want. Just give men a choice and men suffer a lot of confidence issues, and not saying it's all to do with mental health. There's a lot of guys out there, yeah, they do suffer with dark circles, and it really does, it worries them. So this whole thing a year ago, I think there was one in 20 men would try it. Now I can't give you an actual figures, no one really knows, but it's like they reckon 1 in 4 men are going to wear it within like the next 4 to 5 years. So that's a huge audience. But like even a little bit of concealer over a little spot, a little tinted moisturizer, a little bit under here, it's makeup. Right, so once this stigma is broken, I think it will just explode the amount of men, and because once they try it and they see what it can do, it makes them feel better, and that's what it's about, and that's why I'm so passionate about this brand, because this is genuinely how it makes me feel as well. Just remove the stigma, and it will go massive.
Yeah, well, passion comes across. That's for sure. So look to wind this up for you. Got a few more questions that have come in. So and again, this is you with your crystal ball, obviously, but your opinion, how do you think consumer and business behavior will change after the lockdown and COVID?
Yeah, so business behavior, I think we touched on it a minute ago, but I think a lot of people realize business will change because they can realize you can adapt quite quickly. So, the whole thing about working from home, I think a lot of, especially when I worked, when I worked with someone, when I started working from home 18 years ago, it's almost like an amazing thing to work from home. It's seen as a perk.
Yeah.
And, people will take I was going to swear, out of it, by working from home. But now it's almost like if businesses change, with like flexible working from home, I think it will be a better environment for everyone. I've got guys who have an hour and a half, 2 hour commutes into work, that's going to stop, that can stop.
Yeah.
I think that whole thing about moving at pace, like using Zoom and stuff like that, I think will have a massive impact where you can get stuff done a lot quicker without having to have that face to face. Especially international and stuff like that. People are like, well, I'll fly over from wherever, Japan, but we can do it all, because me speaking to you here is, so I think consumer, I don't know, do you know what, how's that going to change? I think it's an interesting thing about, are people going to be realize even more so now about online and how the ease of it. Like, I'm not even, like last night, I've got a little son, he's only 5 months, we wanted a bouncer for him. I'm literally on Amazon like that, to double click, and it's here today.
Yeah.
I know that's ridiculous during coronavirus, like being next day delivery, but that for me, I know a lot of generations are going to see the power of that. So is retail going to be hit even more? I think we'll see big businesses adapting to realize can't be one trick ponies. I think a lot of them are already doing that, about having a online presence. So there'll be a lot of change, but I think they'll be positive. I think positive in terms of, I think it's just like a big movement in terms of speed. Like the big slow businesses are the ones that are going to really be hurt from this. It's the nimble online adaptive businesses, like who can create amazing content, who are quirky, edgy. They're the ones who are going to thrive from it. So.
Yeah, no, good answer. I'm same as you. I chatted to a chap week before last, and he was saying he remembers getting on a plane to go to another continent just for one business meeting.
Yeah.
He was like, if that can change, then I will be so grateful.
Well, it's everything, isn't it? It's time. It's less flights, less pollution, less everything. It's the environment and speed for me. It's even changed my mindset around having meetings. Like, just get a Zoom booked in. You can do it the next day. Like,
me too, 100%. Yeah.
And like something like this, once you meet someone face to face, like I can't tell you what, I'm working on something in a minute, which is really important to our business. It could be absolutely, I can't tell you how big it could be. This person I've never met face to face, and I've had 7, 8, 10 Zooms with them. I feel like this guy's my best mate.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, but a phone call is very different. You don't feel the same.
No.
You know, but I think this is what the positive is. But do you know what you need for Zoom? Makeup.
Indeed. Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. You know, people staying indoors, but they're still doing face to face, aren't they? Still doing.
Yeah, and do you know what else as well? It's this whole thing about your mental health, like staying in. As long as you've got face to face, you feel like you've seen someone. I feel like I've seen you today.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like you've interacted with someone else, but it was just on the phone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it's a real positive in that sense.
Even got like my mum's 80 next year, and she was like, she spent the whole of the last month learning new technologies. But the fact that you can have a Zoom with her friends in Australia, Holland, Canada, it's amazing.
Do you know what? My dad lives in Chicago, and he moved out there 3 years ago, and it's not a big thing. Like, I'm really close to my man, but it's not a big thing here. I literally FaceTime every other day.
Yeah.
So it feels like it's weird. It feels like he's not away.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about business. I think everything in business, right, is about speed, perfection. Do you know what I mean? Like this whole thing I say about makeup and why our society is always, as a human race, we are striving for perfection. That's just in our bones, right? That we want to get better at everything. Everything needs to improve. Otherwise, we'll be stuck in the cave. So this is the whole thing for me about, you know, people say about, oh, you just hiding stuff about the way you look, like just love the way you are. But sometimes that's really difficult because of how we are as a society. Like everyone wants to strive to like the business to be as good as it can be. Like even this we're doing now, a webinar, you want it to be the best webinar it can be.
Yeah.
And if something else comes out, an app or something that's going to be better and improve it, 100% you're going to use it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's for me, and this thing with technology and about Zoom, I think now it will just, well, I wish I bought shares in Zoom, put it that way.
I know it's gone bananas, isn't it? Literally going.
Or Domino's.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was it during the crisis, wasn't it? Domino's. I was like, gosh.
Here's one following on from that then. There you go. If you had £1 million to invest in an industry today, what would it be?
I would invest, if it was pure tactical, right now, I'll go for some of the massive corporates, massive ones that have been absolutely tanked during this time.
Yeah,
so
even like that low.
And you know what? And this is the sad thing about times like this, is that the richer get richer.
Yeah,
you know, the ones who have loads of money and capital. Just because, you know, there's a blip in the market and it is going to recover, but how long? Is it a couple of years? And for me now, I would be investing in some of the big blue corporates that aren't going to go under. You know, like there's all sorts out there they've dropped like 50%, and it's unheard of. But just because of the market, it's going to get absolutely right back up. But I think one of sorry, if I had £1 million now, I would invest in. Do you want a brand or a vote?
You can go either, maybe. Yeah, someone's just asked a question, so maybe go either brand or a market.
Okay, a market, it would be like smoking, like e-cigarettes, but not e-cigarettes. There's another thing come out called Vogue, which is because I'm an ex-smoker, which is it's an inhaler for nicotine, which isn't a vape machine. It like punches nicotine to the throat, but it's got absolutely like zero health issues with it. It's gonna be absolutely massive. So for me, it's like a replacement of a cigarette, because 160 billion cigarettes BAT did last year.
Really?
Yeah, so that just shows you the size of the market. If you get that, mate.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a random question, a bit of a random answer as well.
It was. I wasn't expecting that one. Cool. Well, listen, I will let you crack on with your. Oh, here you go. One to finish on. What are you going to? What's the most important thing you're going to be working on the next 4 weeks? What's your number one priority for the next 4 weeks?
To close a round of investment.
That's a good answer. There you go.
So yeah, it's really important. And look, we're going through it at the minute, and I'm not going to come on here and say we're not, because that's what we're doing. It's very stressful, but it's an amazing thing, and it's you know, it's just that it gives you that fuel for the next part of your business. So over the next 4 weeks, but also as well, new content with customers, is our most important. It's like really, again, about what you can do to make a difference now. We can create this content that's going to drive the business remotely. So we've literally put everything aside to concentrate on getting this new content out relating to coronavirus, COVID, you know, and trying to make not a positive spin on it, but just trying to put our mark on it. So that is really important.
Awesome. Danny Gray, War Paint for Men. Thank you again, sir. Really appreciate your time. Really do.
Thanks, guys, for listening.